When kindness costs you, replace it with this: Stoic philosophy. There comes a painful moment in many people's lives when they realize that being endlessly kind has not brought them peace. Instead, it has brought exhaustion, disappointment, betrayal, and emotional emptiness. They spend years helping others, forgiving everyone, always being available, always saying yes, always trying to make people comfortable. Yet in return, they received very little respect. The sad truth is that many people only appreciate your kindness when it benefits them. The moment you stop giving, they begin to question your value. Stoic philosophy warns us about this danger. The Stoics believed kindness was important, but they also believed that kindness without wisdom becomes self-destruction. A person who gives endlessly without boundaries eventually loses themselves. They become emotionally drained, mentally exhausted, and spiritually weak because they spend their entire life carrying the burdens of other people. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that he could not control the behavior of others, only his own actions and responses. That lesson is powerful because it teaches us where true peace begins. Peace begins when you stop trying to control how everyone feels about you. Peace begins when you stop sacrificing your dignity just to keep others comfortable. Many people are not kind because they are genuinely compassionate. They are kind because they are afraid of rejection, conflict, loneliness, criticism, or abandonment. Stoicism teaches something different. It teaches that real kindness comes from strength, not fear. A strong person can help others without becoming their servant. A wise person can love others without losing themselves. And a disciplined person knows when to walk away from those who abuse their generosity. If this message speaks to you, subscribe to the channel and join this growing community of strong minds learning how to master life through Stoic philosophy. One of the greatest mistakes people make is confusing kindness with constant availability. They believe being a good person means never saying no. They believe love means endless sacrifice. They believe loyalty means tolerating disrespect forever. But the Stoics understood something most people never learn. Every time you say yes to things that destroy your peace, you say no to yourself. Think about how many times you ignored your own exhaustion because someone else needed something from you. Think about how many times you stayed silent when someone disrespected you because you wanted to avoid conflict. Think about how many times you gave people another chance after they repeatedly betrayed your trust. Eventually, this pattern destroys your inner peace. Seneca warned that people carefully guard their money and possessions, yet they allow others to steal their time and energy every single day. Your energy is your life force. Once it is wasted, you can never fully recover those moments. Stoicism teaches that protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. The moment you stop allowing everyone unlimited access to your time, your life begins to improve. Suddenly you feel calmer. You think more clearly. You sleep better. You stop carrying emotional burdens that were never yours to begin with. The strongest people are not the ones who try to save everyone. The strongest people are the ones who understand their limits. Boundaries are not acts of hatred. They are acts of self-respect. A person who respects themselves does not constantly explain why they deserve peace. They simply protect it. Many people secretly live for approval. They shape their personalities around making others happy. They fear disappointing people because they believe rejection means they are unworthy. Stoicism destroys this mindset completely. The Stoics believed that depending on external validation is one of the fastest ways to lose inner freedom. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve yourself, you must become comfortable being misunderstood. That is difficult because human beings naturally crave acceptance. We want people to like us. We want to feel valued. But there is a dangerous side to this desire. When your self-worth depends on other people's opinions, your emotions become controlled by forces outside yourself. One criticism ruins your mood. One rejection destroys your confidence. One disagreement creates anxiety. Stoicism teaches emotional independence. It teaches that your peace should come from your own character, not from applause. Imagine how powerful your life would become if you no longer needed constant approval to feel worthy. Imagine being calm even when people misunderstand you. Imagine walking away from toxic situations without feeling guilty. That is real strength. Weakness constantly seeks validation. Strength quietly knows its value. Many people will only respect you after you stop trying so hard to gain their approval. The moment you stop chasing acceptance, your presence becomes stronger. Your silence becomes more powerful. Your confidence becomes more authentic. And your mind becomes much harder to manipulate. One of the darkest truths about life is that some people are attracted to overly kind individuals because they know they can exploit them. Manipulators often search for people with weak boundaries. They look for people who feel guilty saying no. They look for people who constantly put others before themselves. These individuals become easy targets for emotional control. Stoicism teaches awareness. The Stoics were compassionate, but they were never naive. They understood human nature deeply. They knew that some people operate through selfishness, jealousy, greed, insecurity, and manipulation. Instead of becoming bitter, the Stoic becomes observant. He watches actions more than words. He pays attention to patterns. He notices who only appears when they need help. He notices who disappears during difficult times. He notices who drains his spirit instead of bringing peace into his life. Wisdom is not paranoia. Wisdom is clarity. A wise person understands that not everyone deserves unlimited access to their mind, energy, or emotions. Some people lose access to you not because you hate them, but because protecting your peace became more important than keeping toxic connections alive. This is one of the hardest lessons many people ever learn. Sometimes the people you care about most are the ones causing the greatest damage to your mental peace. Stoicism teaches you not to hate them, but to detach from them calmly. You do not need revenge. You do not need endless arguments. You simply need distance and discipline. The Stoics believed that emotional control is one of the highest forms of strength. Most people react impulsively to everything. They explode with anger, collapse into sadness, or panic during difficult situations. But Stoicism teaches calmness under pressure. Imagine someone insulting you, trying to provoke you, or attempting to manipulate your emotions, yet finding no emotional weakness to exploit. That is true power. Marcus Aurelius said that the best revenge is not becoming like the person who harmed you. This means you do not answer cruelty with cruelty. You answer it with discipline. Many people destroy themselves trying to win arguments that are not worth their peace. They obsess over proving themselves to people who have already decided not to understand them. Stoicism teaches that silence is often more powerful than endless explanation. A calm mind intimidates chaotic people because they cannot control it. The more emotionally reactive you are, the easier you become to manipulate. But when you master your emotions, people lose power over you. This does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means learning to respond instead of react. It means pausing before speaking. It means protecting your peace instead of feeding unnecessary drama. The modern world rewards emotional chaos. Stoicism rewards emotional mastery. And the people who master themselves become impossible to break. Many people remain trapped in unhealthy relationships and toxic environments because they fear loneliness more than suffering. They believe being alone is worse than being disrespected. But Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. Peace in solitude is far greater than chaos in bad company. A person who cannot enjoy their own company becomes emotionally dependent on others. This dependency creates fear, and fear destroys freedom. The Stoics trained themselves to become emotionally self-sufficient. They appreciated friendships and relationships, but they never allowed their happiness to depend entirely on another person. Why? Because everything external is temporary. People change. Circumstances change. Loyalty changes. But your character must remain steady. The moment you become emotionally dependent on external things, your peace becomes fragile. Stoicism teaches you to build your foundation within yourself. When you truly value your own company, you stop tolerating disrespect simply to avoid being alone. Suddenly, your standards rise. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing people who clearly do not value you. You stop forcing connections that drain your spirit. And something incredible happens. The right people begin entering your life naturally. Why? Because confidence attracts respect. Emotional desperation attracts manipulation. A person who respects themselves radiates a quiet power that others can feel immediately. One of the greatest forms of self-betrayal is constantly abandoning your own needs to satisfy everyone else. Many people spend years ignoring their exhaustion, suppressing their emotions, and sacrificing their happiness because they believe that makes them virtuous. But eventually, resentment grows. That resentment poisons the soul. Stoicism teaches balance. The Stoics believed virtue was essential, but they also believed wisdom must guide every action. Helping others while destroying yourself is not wisdom. It is imbalance. You cannot pour endlessly from an empty cup. If your mind is exhausted, your spirit wounded, and your peace destroyed, you cannot truly help anyone effectively. This is why self-respect is essential. A person with self-respect understands that protecting their mental peace is not selfish. It is responsible. Many people will call you selfish the moment you stop allowing them to take advantage of your kindness. Let them. Their discomfort often reveals how much they benefited from your lack of boundaries. Growth sometimes disappoints people. Not because you became cruel, but because you stopped abandoning yourself for their convenience. Stoicism teaches you to accept this calmly. Not everyone will understand your transformation. Not everyone will celebrate your boundaries. But your responsibility is not to please everyone. Your responsibility is to protect your character and your peace. Another powerful Stoic lesson is learning not to rescue people from the consequences of their own actions. Some individuals repeatedly create chaos in their lives and expect others to save them every time. If you constantly shield people from accountability, they never grow. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is step back and allow people to face the results of their choices. This requires enormous emotional strength because many kind-hearted people feel guilty when they stop rescuing others. But Stoicism teaches that you are not responsible for fixing every broken person you encounter. You are responsible for living wisely and maintaining your own inner stability. There is a major difference between helping someone and allowing them to drain your life completely. Wise compassion knows the difference. Excessive kindness without boundaries often enables destructive behavior. People continue disrespecting you because you keep tolerating it. People continue manipulating you because you keep allowing it. The moment you stop rewarding toxic behavior with unlimited patience, everything changes. Suddenly, manipulators lose interest because they can no longer control you emotionally. Suddenly, your relationships become healthier because they are built on mutual respect instead of emotional dependency. And most importantly, you finally begin reconnecting with yourself. The modern world constantly pressures people to seek approval online, impress others, and maintain an image of endless niceness. But Stoicism reminds us that popularity is unstable. One moment people praise you, and the next moment they criticize you. If your identity depends on public approval, your emotional state will constantly rise and fall. The Stoics focused on something deeper: character. Are you disciplined? Are you honest? Are you calm during difficulty? Are you acting according to your principles? These questions matter far more than temporary admiration. Many people lose themselves because they spend their entire lives performing for others. They become afraid to say no. Afraid to disappoint people. Afraid to appear different. But Stoicism teaches courage, the courage to live according to reason instead of fear. True confidence is quiet. It does not beg for attention. It does not chase validation. It does not need to prove itself constantly. A confident person knows their worth even when others fail to recognize it. This inner certainty changes everything. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop defending every decision. You stop wasting energy trying to convince people to value you. Instead, you focus on becoming stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That is the Stoic path. There is incredible freedom in realizing that not everyone deserves your soft side. Some people mistake patience for weakness. Some people only understand consequences. Stoicism teaches you to remain compassionate, while also remaining firm. You can be respectful without allowing disrespect. You can be kind without being naive. You can care about people without sacrificing your dignity. This balance is one of the hardest things to master because many people swing between extremes. They either become overly passive or overly aggressive. But the Stoic chooses discipline. He chooses calm strength. He chooses emotional control. He chooses wisdom over impulse. Imagine how different your life would become if you stopped reacting emotionally to every insult, every betrayal, and every disappointment. Imagine how peaceful your mind would feel if you stopped carrying emotional burdens that were never yours to hold. The world becomes much lighter when you stop trying to save everyone. And ironically, people often respect you more when they realize you cannot be emotionally controlled. Life becomes simpler when you finally understand that your peace is more valuable than temporary approval. The Stoics knew that external things could disappear at any moment. Wealth can disappear. Fame can disappear. Relationships can change. But your character remains yours. This is why Stoicism focuses so heavily on inner strength. A person with inner strength remains calm even during chaos. They do not crumble under criticism. They do not collapse after rejection. They do not lose themselves trying to satisfy everyone around them. Instead, they remain grounded in their values. This is the kind of strength the modern world desperately needs. Not loud arrogance. Not fake confidence. Real inner discipline. Real emotional stability. Real self-respect. The strongest person in the room is often the calmest one. The person who has mastered themselves no longer needs to dominate others. In the end, Stoic philosophy is not teaching you to stop being kind. It is teaching you to stop abandoning yourself in the name of kindness. There is a major difference. The world does not need more people who destroy themselves trying to please everyone. The world needs wiser individuals, people who remain compassionate without becoming weak, people who remain disciplined without becoming cold, and people who protect their peace without losing their humanity. Your kindness should never cost your dignity. Your compassion should never require self-destruction. And your heart should never become a place where everyone enters freely while leaving pain behind. Learn to protect your energy. Learn to value your time. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to walk away from people who repeatedly disrespect you. And most importantly, learn to respect yourself deeply enough that you no longer tolerate what destroys your peace. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep lessons on Stoicism, emotional strength, self-discipline, confidence, and mental peace, subscribe to the channel right now. Join this growing community of strong minds learning how to master life, protect their energy, and become emotionally unshakable through Stoic philosophy. Like this video, share it with someone who needs this message today, and remember this: the moment you stop sacrificing your peace to please everyone, your real life finally begins.